Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Jonathan Puga with Get to the Point. I'm so privileged and honored to have Lisa Grossman with us today. And, she's a legend in the industry. She's helped thousands of people make a full-time income and change their lives forever. So I'm going to pass it to her with no further ado. Lisa Grossman, welcome.
Well, thanks, Jonathan. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a little bit of a crazy day, but I was so intrigued when you got in touch with me yesterday and told me that lots of people had questions for me. And you wanted to do this interview that, I've never done that kind of a format before, but I thought it sounded like so much fun.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And the first question is, why should people listen to you?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I've never really thought that people should or shouldn't listen to me. I tell them what I think, but I suppose if I took myself outside myself, I've been in the industry 108 years. When Wagon started going west, I started in network marketing. Actually, I think, being more serious, I've been doing this over 27 years. I'm pretty straightforward, and I like to keep things simple. And I can build a pretty decent network marketing business. Really, I think it's more a function of that I know a lot of people that are much better at it than I am. My father always said, there are people that are talented and those that are gifted. I'm talented. I have all the gifted people's phone numbers, and I can make sure I have my relationships with them are pretty good. But if I have a sweet spot, I understand the business of network marketing. And there's a vast difference between building a network marketing business and understanding the business of network marketing. And when you understand the business of network marketing, you tend to be building a network marketing business in the right place. And you also tend to understand the model you're building. And I think a lot of people don't really understand what network marketing is. And they come into it with misconceptions, and that's why they don't have the success. Because I think with clarity comes peace of mind, and people are able to take action. So I think I've been around a long time. I think I've had some success, but I think I understand the business model pretty well. But as far as why people should listen to me, there are a lot of people I would say shouldn't. But if you're brand new, anytime you have the opportunity to get to benefit from somebody else's experience of banging their head up against the wall so that you don't have to, it's a good thing. And I was very stubborn when I got started. So I banged my head up against the wall for 2 years, and I've got the bruises to prove it. So I think that a lot of people, I can spare them if they're willing to listen and learn some of the stuff that I went through and shorten their learning curve. And I think that's what everybody wants to do. I think that there are no shortcuts to success, but you can compress time. And I think that everybody would like to get it done in the least amount of time possible to actually build something that's long-term sustainable.
Awesome. Well, that's an awesome answer. Thank you for that. I'm sure a lot of people will get help from that. So, how did you become so awesomeness?
Well, I don't know that I'm so awesome. I don't know how that I became so awesomeness, but I think I know where that question came from. Let's just say that when you get old enough, and I am, when you get old enough, you've lived a long time. So I am a lot smarter today than I was 30 years ago, and I think I'm a lot more tolerant because of it. I see a lot more gray than black and white. So once upon a time, I think that I was much harder to get along with. And now I tend to try not to judge people. I think just because somebody's not on my road doesn't mean that their road is wrong. And I think that everybody's on a journey, and people are generally more alike than they are different. And I think if everybody tries to make people just feel good instead of tearing other people down, then everybody benefits. So I don't think I'm necessarily awesome. I just think I'm older and wiser than I used to be.
Great
It's still
answer.
a work in progress, looking to get better every day.
Who are your favorite mastermind buddies, or do you have any?
Oh gosh, ton. And that's really the secret of my success of the last 2 years. I have the very, very good fortune of spending a great deal of time with world-class people, and you hate to make a list because you always think you're going to forget somebody, but I'll just Eric Worre for sure, Robert Hollis are wonderful friends that I get to spend a lot of time with, Fernie Cevallos and Ray over at No Excuses. Tim Irway is phenomenally brilliant, and I've had the good fortune. Matt Crystal, his partner. Diane Hochman has become in the last 2 years the yin to my yang. Certainly my business partner, Curtis Broom, we've been doing business together for like 14 years, and he's the best partner in the world that you could have, and we complement each other very well. Every day I'm on the phone with incredible people. Terry LaCour has been a big mentor, a big inspiration, a big help in my life. He's a brilliant, I don't think I've ever been in a room in the space where Terry wasn't the smartest person in the room, and that's saying something because I've been in some pretty brilliant rooms with some pretty brilliant people. But Brian McMullen, phenomenally talented, beyond his years, one of the most successful people that I've met in the space. Holden Buggs is, right now the industry's #1 earner. He's been a friend for 15 years, and I don't think really anybody does it better than he does. And I could go on, and as we talk, more and more names will come to mind because there are so many. Donna Johnson, I haven't had the opportunity to hang out with her that much, but over the last year I've gotten to know her, and she's just phenomenally talented and such an inspiration for so many women, in the industry, and, just so many.
Awesome. That's great. Thanks for sharing that. What were the lessons that you learned first when you got started into the industry?
The lessons I learned first were the hardest lessons of all, because they're the lessons you learn because you're smart enough to listen, and they're the lessons that you learn through trial and error. I learned that you can't make yourself the issue in network marketing. And coming from a traditional space, we all tend to. Because network marketing is not about selling. And people don't understand that. We all think product is definitely being consumed, but it's about building a brand. It's about building a brand, a culture brand, really. It's culture branding. Building a network of consumers using culture branding with network marketing is the specific type of culture branding that you're using, and actually that's the best one. And you have to make, and the key to that whole mechanism working is inclusiveness, building an environment that everybody can find a place in, even if everybody doesn't come to it, to make $8 gazillion. Because there's a place for you if you just are related to somebody who's trying to make a couple $100 a month and you want to use a good product. If you want to get a product wholesale, if you want to get it for free, if you want to make a couple $100 a month. If a grandmother or a college student or a housewife or a house husband or anybody wants to make $300-400 a month part-time because grandma wants to spoil the kids and not tell grandpa about it, and she achieves that, that is a huge success and needs to be celebrated. And so many people think that network marketing is a recruiting business opportunity business. And there is a great financial opportunity that's available at all levels in the space. But it's really about building a brand, a network of consumers for a brand surrounded by a culture that allows people to be more than they are. And in order for that to happen, you can't be the issue. The culture, the team, the company, the product, the environment becomes, the community is the issue, because products are commodities. Every great product will be copied, duplicated, or even if it's never is, will have its lifespan. But great companies reinvent themselves, and products change, and compensation plans are tweaked. But great vision, great communities, they persevere and they grow and grow and grow. And that doesn't happen if you make yourself the issue, and it doesn't happen if you're short-sighted, and it doesn't happen if you don't treat people with the respect they deserve and understand that it's their business to do with as they see fit. Nobody that comes on your team works for you. You work for them. And too many people are caught up in what their upline thinks of them or the company. They work for you. You work for the people, and you're responsible for the people that you bring to the party. And I think that those were the most important lessons and the hardest lessons I learned, because I did everything wrong when I got started, because I was bullheaded and stubborn and didn't want to listen to anybody.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you for that. Do you have a system that you use that creates duplication for your team?
I work with a lot of teams now. I have the good fortune of being semi-retired in my own personal business because it's working very well. We've got great leadership, and we spend a lot of time developing that. But I've always built my businesses around the same, for 23 years I've built them exactly the same way. So when you say it's system, it's more like a systematic approach. I think that every great company has an information circle, because there's only really two things that great networkers do. They ask questions and they tell stories. And they get really good at telling their own story and telling the stories of other people. The company story and the industry story are not so important to be great at telling, because typically a company has great tools and great third-party resources to convey that information. And really, that story is the same for everybody. So why waste your time getting good at something that's already been done in great video that everybody's got, that the better everybody uses the same tool, the more successful your business is going to be. So my whole premise was in network marketing is a little bit different. You know, I think if you ask 100 people in network marketing that come to network marketing, what do you want out of network marketing? They'll say it's to make money. But that's what they say. But what they really want when they get started, they won't say it, is to get their money back. Because, and by the way, to make money, if you spent money, you know, to make money, you have to pass through breaking even anyway. But my whole premise was finding a way to teach people to get their money back very, very quickly and to let the product do the work for them. Because to me, that's what network marketing is about. It's not about getting customers or getting distributors. Those will come, but it's about giving people choice. We go out and we ask for help, we give people choice, we ask questions, we tell stories. And when a person's brand new and they come to network marketing, they only have three things. They have enormous fear. They don't want to be made a fool. They don't want to look like a fool. They don't want their family to laugh at them. They don't want to. They're already doubting if they made the correct decision. They've got a lot. Typically, what they think of as a lot of product, but it's not. It's usually 10 or 12, maybe 15 units of whatever the company's hot lead product is. And they have a list of people that they know who know them well enough and love them that want to help them. That's their friends and family. That's the very same list that they're afraid to talk to, that they don't want to go to recruit. And they're right. Those are not people to recruit. But to me, those are the trial customers. Those are the people you go to ask for help. And in your first 24 to 72 hours, we teach people to go to those people and ask them for help. Hi, Uncle Fred. This is Lisa. I've gotten involved with a new business. Not asking you to join it. I'm not even asking you to be a customer. I am going to ask you to help me out. I need 15 trial customers to buy my product, use it for a month, or whatever the prescribed amount of time is to get optimum results with a product, but usually it's about a month. Use it for a month and give me their feedback. If you like it, which I expect that you will, you can become a preferred customer. I'll even show you the business at that time if you like. If you don't, I'll never ask you to buy it again. But I need you to buy it, and then I need you to buy it, try it, answer all these questions for me, and then help me with my marketing. Can I count on you? And what we found is that 60 to 80% of your hot market, not your warm market, your hot market, those close friends and family you're afraid to call and recruit, that, by the way, folks, when you call and recruit them, oh my God, I got in this thing and it's great, and you need to get in and we're all going to make $1 million, blah, 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 and they think you're crazy. You sound crazy when you call them like that, so they're not that off. And by the way, it's your friends and family. They're there to support and help you. Do you really want them to be in business with you? I mean, think about it. So when they say no, they're supposed to. Do things that align with human nature. If you had an Italian restaurant on opening night, who would be there to support you, to be at the tables, to fill up the joint? Your close friends and family, but you wouldn't ask them to come wash the dishes and cook. They wouldn't you wouldn't want them there. So that's sort of where we start people very quickly, because what that does for them is it gets the product out to be tried and will yield some customers. And believe it or not, network marketing, lo and behold, could it be about marketing to your network? That was a big epiphany for me. Network marketing is about marketing to your network, but in the proper order. So you start with your hot market, and that's where you get trial customers and a story. Then you go to your warm market and start recruiting. And after, by the time you've gone through all of that and help everybody to do that, you've got enough skill to go to a cold market, because a cold market is your least forgiving market, right? So right. I typically tell people don't ever start there because it costs money. They don't know you. They're not going to be as forgiving, and you don't know what you're doing yet. So that's kind of the mechanism. And then for recruiting, I've always built it on, 2 principles and a series of themes and questions. I believe that the biggest challenge a lot of people have, and I know that I did, was that I thought, to be in network marketing, I had to learn everything about the product, and I had to be giving great presentations. I started out with the best. I was in a company that had so much talent you wouldn't believe, and I'd sit back and watch them do these meetings, and that's what I figured I had to do. I had to be able to explain the product and the comp plan and draw circles that looked like circles, and and be so interesting and compelling and fascinating. And if it wasn't, until I could do that, my prospects, I had to get them on the phone with the top guy or the president of the company or whoever it was, because otherwise it wasn't going to work. And I realized that that's a real error. We all get in thinking we have to be interesting, but who really cares? When you call somebody on the phone, they've never heard of the company, and they're not necessarily looking to be involved with one. So do they really care, no matter how interesting you are? Jonathan, what's everybody's favorite subject?
What's everyone's favorite subject?
Mm-hmm.
I'd say finding prospects.
No, everybody's favorite subject in life is themselves. It's everybody's number one topic. So I found that if you are very interested in people, they find you very interesting.
Right.
So, and here's an interesting thing. Do you know how long you have, when a brand new person gets into network marketing, they're scared to death. They're at the meeting. They're going to go home. They're going to tell somebody that's going to make them doubt their decision. Do you know how long you have to really, really, really inoculate them against that fear?
No, I don't know.
An hour. Do you think you can teach somebody everything they need to know about the comp plan to the point that next week they could get up at the meeting and do the comp plan without any help in an hour?
No.
Then I wouldn't waste any of the hour teaching them anything about the comp plan. Do you think that you could teach somebody everything they need to know about the product to the point that next week they could get up and do the entire product presentation with no help and no cheat sheets?
No.
Then I wouldn't waste any of the hour teaching about the product. And it took me a long time to learn this because I had great mentors who taught me. But what you can't, do you think you could teach people to be interested in other people and ask them maybe 3 questions?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That's kind of what we built our businesses around. Is if you go out and you ask people how they are and really focus on them, they're not used to it. People are not used to people taking the time to care about other people, and you really need to, because it's as much for you as it is for them. Because when you're prospecting, you are searching for who you are going to work for. It's right. I prospect everybody, but I'm very selective who I'm going to work for, because when you sign somebody up, they don't work for you, you work for them. And so when you get very interested in other people, not only is it wonderful for them to know how much you care about them, it gives you the opportunity to see if it's somebody that you really want to start a business with. Because one of the great things about network marketing is we have the opportunity to choose who we work with. And there's not another profession on earth that I know of where everybody who's there is there because they want to be, and everybody you're working with, you have a choice to see if that's to decide if that's who you want to work with. So basically, you go out and you start talking to people, and sooner or later you're going to ask them how they are, and people are always going to tell you one of 2 things. If people are genuinely happy, and there aren't that many, they're going to say, I'm great, it's awesome, it's fantastic. Everybody else is going to tell you they're fine. Fine, I'm fine, especially in America. We're conditioned to say fine. Fine to me means that they are effed up, insecure, neurotic, and emotional. Nobody is fine. People are so far from fine, but they don't think anybody cares. And if you keep focusing in on them, eventually the facade will fall and their frustration will come out. And what you're looking to ask them is, are you happy? And by are you happy, the sub-questions is, are you where you want to be? Is the road you're on taking you where you want to go? If nothing changes, are you living your dream? Are you where you thought you'd be? Do you even think about that anymore? Are you happy? Are you satisfied? Don't ever ask anybody if they want more money, because some of the very best people in home-based business today, in network marketing, are not here because they couldn't make money elsewhere or that they weren't making money elsewhere. They weren't happy. I myself was miserable, prior to network marketing. My favorite saying is, when you win the rat race, you're still a rat. You have no freedom. So many people that you meet sacrifice everything to get the life for their family. They have no time to live with their family because they're off sacrificing. So are you happy? Eventually everybody will tell you, no, I'm not satisfied. Very few people are. Because the next thing you're going to move to, and you're not going to go out and bullet, shoot questions at people, but the next question you're going to ask people is, do you have a plan? Now, obviously, you're not asking people, do you have a plan, because you want to know if they have a plan. You know they don't have a plan. If they had a plan, they wouldn't be talking to you about how unhappy they were. They'd be out working the plan that's making them happy. But you want them to reconnect, because people get so disconnected from where they're at. I'm not happy, and no, I don't have a plan. Because the next question is very simple. Would you like to see one? And you tell them point blank, it's probably not for you. And that's hard for a lot of people to say. It's probably not for you. Although I'm sure you're going to love the product. Most everybody does. But here's why you tell them it's probably not for them. Because it's probably not for them. Most people are not doctors, and they're not restaurant owners, and they're not construction workers. But guess what? We all go to doctors, and we all eat in restaurants, and we all are sitting in buildings. Wherever you're watching this, I'm betting that you're sitting in something, even if it's a car that in some degree people that are involved in construction help build. And network marketing is no different. Not everybody is designed or wants to be a network marketing professional, but we market products and services that are universally appealing and very high quality when you're with good companies. And most people today are picking better and better companies because good products today are almost a given, thanks to social media. So you're telling people it's probably not for you, although I'm sure you're going to love the product. Most people do. But guess what? If you do see what I see, I think together we could crush it and do something really special. And if you don't, that's okay, because you're on the road to looking for a plan. And you need to find a plan because you deserve to be happy. You deserve to be free. You deserve to have the very best life has to offer. And if the road you're on isn't taking you there, you need to change. You need to find a plan that will help you change roads. And you're putting the person first, because you know what? Whether the business is for them or not, they'll remember that you put them first. And we are in a business of relationships. Imagine that it would take that on the 7th time the subject comes up, or the 7th exposure, everybody you talk to would join you, but they have to want to talk to you the 7th time.
Yeah.
That's probably a very long answer to a question. I don't remember what it was when you started, so I apologize for that.
No, thank you very much. That is going to help a lot of people, because when I heard that, it gave me a pop, and that's a real good way to, prospect people and let them know that you really care about them. So that's going to help a lot of people. Thank you so much for sharing that. The next question is, where do you find people to prospect after you're done with, you're going through, your hot market, your warm market, and your cold?
Well, truthfully, if people are doing that, first of all, cold market is the rest of the world, so you're never done with that. That's everybody that you don't know. And I don't really believe there is a cold market. I just believe there's friends you haven't met yet. But personally, it does not require, if you do it right, network marketing does not require that you have tons and tons and tons and tons of prospects, but they're everywhere. Because it's people that you meet, and it's Facebook. As long as you're interested in other people, you will never run out of people to prospect. But what I always teach people, I'm still a spiral notebook girl. I think that Facebook and phone books and all these things are wonderful. However, the first thing I ever everybody do is really take out that spiral notebook and start writing a list of everybody they know that comes to mind. And the reason for this is twofold. One, the act of writing stuff down really does empty your mind and make you think of other people. But also, it's a never-ending process, and I want people I want people from the very get-go. I want to get them to abundance thinking. And when people start to really write down everybody that they know, they start to look at this list and go, "Gee, how am I ever going to get to all these people?" When they don't write it down, they always think, "I don't know enough people." Because if you have a list that you're always adding to as you meet people, you always go back and add to that list. I could show you notebooks. I was training yesterday, and I actually pulled these out, so I'll do it again because they're right here. That go back 20 years, and you can see they're like filled and filled and filled with names and names and names and all these names. I never ever got through a book, because once you start building a team, you will be working on 3 ways, you will be doing events, you will be helping other people with their lists.
Yeah.
And you're only prospecting, you're always recruiting new people. But really, your own prospecting will slow down as other people keep you busy. As long as you put your efforts where they're deserved, not where they're needed, which is really what the problem most people have. It's not that they don't have enough people to prospect. It's they don't know how to focus their efforts where they're deserved and not where they're needed. Who to work with individually and who to work with in group. And it's very simple, because it's not a popularity contest. It's very, very objective. And when everybody understands what the accountability factors are and what is expected, it works. So I've never met a person in network marketing that had great success that didn't go out in their first 30 to 45 days and start sponsor 15 to 20 people. But the reason that you do that is, out of the 15 to 20, about three of them are going to turn out to be really where 90% of your business comes from. 10, 12 will do nothing, 4 or 5 will do something, and 3 to 4 are going to be the bulk of your business, because of the old 85-15 rule. 15% of your revenue will always be, 85% of your revenue will be generated by 15% of your people. That doesn't mean, though, that you lose or forget the other 85%. If you have 20 people, 3 out of, most people get, excuse me, I'm sorry. Oh, God. Most people get lost in 17 land. Instead of focusing on the 3 individually, working with the 17 in group, allowing them to come to the meeting and occasionally introduce somebody and use the product and share the product, they chase the 17 and eventually they chase them right out. We want everybody in the environment to whatever degree they want to be, or whether they want to make $0 or $10 or $1,000 or $100,000. We just don't mislead people. We can't. People have to understand that a $10 effort is going to yield $10. And as long as everybody understands, it works really well because people are just looking for people to be straight with them. And that's all anybody wants. So I think that everybody is a prospect because the fortune is in the follow-up. If you treat people with respect, if you're interested in them, if you ask them to take a look with an open mind, and if you allow them, once they've made a choice, if you respect that choice, I believe that you will never run out of people to talk to because you can always go back with those people when you have new information or to see if their timing's changed. The key, though, is you have to marry the result and divorce yourself from the process because you can't control anything other than how many people you talk to, how you talk to them, how much respect you treat them with, and how you follow up with them, and how you ask them how you interact with them and ask them to extend you into their network. Because what anybody does or doesn't do is up to them. So people aren't numbers, but it is a numbers game. So all you have to figure out is what do you want to achieve, and then how many people you talk to. And I'm talking to people every day. I mean, we didn't know each other yesterday, and here we are on a hangout. So how hard is it to meet people in 2014?
That's awesome. Great answer. Awesome. So how long did it take you to make a full-time income when you first started in network marketing?
Well, the first 2 years I made no money, but I didn't lose money either. And I tell people all the time, I was a very serious part-time. I still had my business, my horrific, horrible business that I couldn't wait to escape from. But my part-time was very serious because I take things seriously. But I got an enormous education in 2 years, enormous. So I made some money, but I went to events. I spent money wrong. So I made it. I spent it. But I got this great education. And for those of you that think that sounds too long, I want to put this in perspective for you. I just had my oldest child graduate from university last year. My youngest is going to her senior year. Each of their educations cost me a boatload of money because they didn't go to state school. So I'm not going to throw the number out there because it boggles even my mind. But it was a boatload of money. And at the end of all of that, Hillary is now entertaining job offers. And this was about the same when I graduated. It's a little higher now. And she did very well in school, and she got some additional things, 2 degrees and some other things. And right now, a good starting salary for a person out of college that doesn't have a grad degree, but who did well in school and everything else, $55,000 a year would be really, really, really good. And that's to work full-time, 40 hours a week, wherever. Now that's a big company that's going to tell you don't get to live in Dallas anymore. We need you in Timbuktu. No, we need you to move here now. No, we need you to move there now. So they pretty much take control of your life. After 2 years in network marketing, I was able to earn a mailbox money income of about $2,500, about $110,000 a year. Mailbox, meaning it was residual, it came every week. So the question is, if you could spend 2 years and not, spend 2 years of your time, not spend a great deal of money, not have to give up what you're currently doing, and get enough of an education that from the 3rd year on, you are making 6 figures a year plus, and it was residual. How does that not sound good enough when kids go to college, spend $50,000 a year on tuition that they're going to hawk, their parents going to hawk? So $250,000 later, full-time, they're lucky if they can make half of that.
Exactly.
After 4 years. So it took me 2 years to earn a 6-figure income. I would say another 2 years to be where I was at a point where I knew I could do it at will. I didn't feel lucky anymore. I had the skill set, and it took me 11 years to earn it to get to 7 figures in a year.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. Great story.
Today, There are as many. It seems like there's as many 7-figure-a-year earners today as there were 6-figure-a-year earners when I got started.
Right. So it's basically the training's got better and evolved, huh?
And we've gone global, and there are more and more people in the industry, and more and more companies in the industry, more and more people turning to the industry. The industry's most companies are going around the world much quicker. You know, it's a whole different world. We have technologies that make it easier to communicate with, get the message out to larger audiences more efficiently, quicker, less expensively. It's a fantastic time to do network marketing.
That's right. That's awesome. So, what's the most you've ever made in a month?
Oh, $245,000, I think.
Wow, that's incredible.
It was a long time ago. That was in like 2001. So.
Wow. If you started all over today and could talk to your younger self, what would you tell yourself?
Same thing that Holden Bugg said from the stage. I think it was at Eric Worre's event last year. I think it's the quote of the year: "Think bigger, faster."
Awesome. What are some of your goals on your bucket list?
Oh, I don't know. Truthfully, I really want to teach as many people as make as many people as possible aware around the world that they have options. You know, that there is a better way, as Eric says. I'd like to write a book someday, I suppose, although these days I think that might end up being a blog. I don't have a list. I'm a techno idiot. I keep saying I'd like to have a list so that I could communicate with people at will when I want to get them all together to say something. I'm working on that. I don't know. I've been around the world. I've lived overseas. I love my life, but I guess just to reach more people, to help more people, to have a greater impact, be of more value to the industry, because I truly love it. I suffer from TB, true believerism. I think it's the last frontier. I used to say of the American dream, then I lived overseas and realized we're a little bit arrogant, so now I say the global dream. But see my kids be happy, obviously, you know, with everything that they want.
That's awesome.
World peace, you know?
World peace. Yeah, we all want that, right?
Yes, I hope.
What's the most important things for somebody to do in their business on a daily basis?
A daily method of operation, consistently do it, not confuse money-making activities or productivity with activity. I think the most important thing on a daily basis is put your efforts where they're deserved, not where they're needed. Be consistent and get better every day. You know, expand your associations and whether it's by get to live events, and every day, there aren't live events every day, but whatever you're doing, every day you should be working on a plan that puts you at every live event your company does, and every live event that you can get to other than the ones your company do that have merit. You know, if you're not planning to be in Las Vegas in November 20th to November 23rd at Eric Worre's Recruiting Mastery, you need to be there. It is the event of the season. I cannot even begin to tell you. I've never met anybody in the space. All breakthroughs come at events, because that is where you meet enough people. No matter how far you get in the industry, you will always meet people that look at things differently, that can change your way you look at things. And success does not really come from the how-tos. Somebody can give you a how-to list that's pretty correct. You can get a recipe on how to make anything online in 27 minutes. But breakthroughs come not from getting the how-to list, but from changing the way you look at things, changing your perspective, and changing your outlook. And that comes from getting around people that have bigger vision than you do, and you'll always find those people at events, always.
Awesome. So attend events.
And in the meantime, talk to people, ask questions, tell stories, talk to more people, talk to new people, share the business, share the product, share the opportunity to share the business and share the product, and go to events. That's really, it's the same as it's always been, just 21st century style.
Awesome. How many times did you ever want to quit, and why didn't you?
26 days of every month.
Really?
And why didn't I? Because typically, if I'm doing something, I've made a commitment. And
right.
And by the way, don't make commitments quickly. I say this all the time. Joining a company is not a commitment. And it's okay. You know, sometimes we're women. For those of you that are watching, women, we date before we get engaged. We get engaged before we get married. But when you start talking to other people, you are now part of their decision-making process. So when I make a commitment to get something done, I have to see it through. That's how I'm still in network marketing. I hated, you know, I thought when I first started network marketing, I hated it because it was beating me. I was failing. I was making myself the issue. But I don't like to quit things a failure. So I committed to myself and others who were listening that I was going to get to the top. At which point I planned to quit. I just didn't want to quit a failure because I didn't like anything about it. I didn't understand it. Right. Obviously, along the way, I fell in love with it because I began to understand what it really was, what it offered people. You know, how truly magnificent it was, with all of its flaws and all of those that, you know, misunderstand it or misrepresent it. It is still unbelievably the best thing, you know, a better way, as Eric says. But once you made a commitment, you know, what's the definition of commitment? Doing what you said you'd do long after the mood you said it was over. So you want to quit today. Sometimes you give yourself the day off, and then you remember. You know, every now and again, you have a magnificent day. A day where somebody comes up to you or somebody calls you and tells you that you made a difference, you made an impact in your life, something that you said or did, some tape they saw, some training you did, that you made a difference because something you did or somebody that you talked to, that they talked to through ripple effect changed their life. And those days make it all worthwhile. But you don't quit because the job is not done. If the job is done, you have an option to quit. So always, you know, and you go out and you talk to new people. Jeff Roberti used to say, and it's so true, there's no day, there's no bad circumstance, there's no frustration that 5 new distributors or 5 new people to talk to about becoming distributors won't fix. Because when you want to quit, you're typically frustrated by things that are going on internally in your business. Because going out and talking to new people about changing their lives is never anything that can make you can never be anything but excited and happy about that. So if you're frustrated, you're not doing enough of that. You're getting caught up in things that just bog you down.
That's awesome. That's an awesome answer. Can you what was your definition of a leader? How do you define that?
Well, it's very interesting because a leader is just somebody that people will follow. So the word that I'm always more concerned with is leadership.
Okay.
Because leadership is a skill. A leader can be a good leader or a bad leader, but a good leader would be a servant leader. Somebody who puts the ultimate goal, the long-term vision that serves the most people ahead of what makes them happy today. Somebody who can follow as well as lead, that can take direction as well as issue it. Somebody that can mobilize people. Somebody that's liked by people. Somebody that can be certain without being arrogant, and can be compassionate without being soft. Because you don't really help people by helping them too much.
Right. Awesome. What is the most significant event in your entire life?
Oh, the days my daughters were born.
Awesome. that was an easy answer, right?
Oh, easy.
Do you believe everybody can do this business?
Do I believe that everybody can do this business? Absolutely. Do I believe that everybody will do this business? No.
All right. Some people say you dress a little frumpy. What would you say to people that say that?
One of the advantages of being 52 years old and being through in my life is maybe I do by their standards, and that's okay. Doesn't change the message. There are days I don't, and there are days I do, I suppose, by other people's standards. But at this point in life, I've reached a point in my life where I kind of do what I want to do. And if what I'm wearing is more important to somebody than what I'm saying, I'm not sure they'd be the person who I changed what I was wearing for anyway.
Awesome answer. What's the definition of success in your opinion?
Performing something at to the highest level of your capability. I like John Wooden's definition of success.
Yeah, he's awesome. What is the basic skill you need to master? The number one skill, if you can only master one, what would it be in your business?
Listening.
Okay. Awesome.
Because everything, if you listen well, everything you can point, guide, and direct somebody to the information they need or the story they need to hear, because it's all about the other person. Everything in that, it's not about you, it's about them. So if you're listening, you're finding out about them.
All right. Do you favor marketing online or marketing offline, one or the other, or do you think you should do both?
I think that people need to do whatever is comfortable with them. I think that people get all caught up in this old school, new school, online, offline. We're online right now. I'm what I call a traditional marketer, but I do hangouts, I do conference calls. I think that what's important is the message. And I think if the messaging is correct, that technology is phenomenal online, supported by offline, if that's the way you want to do it, because I don't believe you can do it all online. I believe that people have to connect with other people. I think live events are key. So I think that if the messaging is correct and you're proficient in that and you're comfortable there, like a younger generation is, I think that's great. Because you'll reach more people more effectively, quicker, faster. We're doing that right now. If the messaging is wrong, then you'll only have the ability to fail in front of a larger audience that much faster. And at the end of the day, it's about connection, not context. So if you're able to connect with people, however the people come to you, whether it's a newspaper article or you meet them on Facebook or you call them on the telephone because you bought leads or it's your next door neighbor, sooner or later, the longevity, it's a business relationship. It's not selling somebody something. You're not closing and ending it. Sooner or later, it comes down to a relationship. And relationships can be built a multitude of ways, online, offline, over the telephone, or somebody can be with you in the very same room in your local market for 10 years and you never build one. So whatever works for you.
Awesome. Awesome. If someone has been in the industry for a while and they, they're saying they're working hard daily, they're doing everything they need to do, everything their mentors telling them to do, and they're still failing, what would you say to that person, and what kind of advice would you give them?
I would say I would say that you have to look around you. If you're in a company and one person is making it work, okay. If two people are making it work, it's not a fluke. If 10 people are making it not making it work and you're not, sometimes people are working hard. They're working so hard that they're working against themselves. Again, making themselves the issue, talking too much versus listening, sponsoring wide and ending up with a big front line and no down line because they're not working in depth. I would say go back to the beginning and look at it again. And go to people that are having success. Always go to people that are having success and ask for their help. Too many people spend their time talking with those that are not getting the results they want about the fact that none of us are getting the results we want, instead of going to people that are getting the results they want and finding out what they're doing and modeling that.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, so this is one of the last questions. What is your greatest accomplishment in your life?
I don't know. But I would have to say I like to think, for me at this point, it's my relationships, because in my younger years, I think at times I wasn't very nice. I certainly was a drama queen. And, it's really not about whose fault it is. I mean, people just don't like to be surrounded by drama, and people that feel victimized, even if it's not their fault. So there are a lot of people I think that I alienated over, not a lot, but over the years, people that I'm not as close with as I went, or the relationship got damaged, and I regret that. I wish it could have turned out differently. But today, I think I'm very proud of the way that people think about me and I think about them, and the way that I get along with people. My frumpy appearance notwithstanding.
I don't know who asked that question.
It's okay, because it doesn't matter, because today I'm frumpier than ever. But if you knew the day I had today, and here's the thing, they say, and here's one thing I will say in defense of myself. I may be frumpy at my appearance in times, but if 95% of success is showing up, I always do.
That's right. That's awesome. You are awesome. So one last thing to tell everybody and let them know a message from you. What would you enlighten them on, and kind of advice you'd give them in their business, and how to be successful, and just your parting words.
Well, actually, I too, because first off, And this is not the last thing I'll say, but for those of you that are watching, you probably didn't know this, but this is really a Likes for Lisa telethon. So I would love it if you would go like my fan page, because I do work with a lot of internet marketers. I'm a techno idiot myself, but you know, I like to keep my fan page growing so they don't laugh at me so much, and I would love to connect with you there if you'd like, and Jonathan will give you the address to do that. But on a more serious note, if I was going to give you one parting thing, I would say that it takes time, but you need to understand the business that you're in. And somebody gave me some very good advice once upon a time in my life, and it's part of my story, and we'll share it another time. But suffice to say, I think that most people tend to overestimate what they can do in a month, and because of that, they have the same horrific 90 days over and over and over again in the same place in new places, and they underestimate what they can do in a year. And because of it, they're really never working a one-year plan. And I think that if you really would sit down and work a one-year plan, where you want to be in a year, and really ask the next question, and understand not just a wish, but what you really want to accomplish and how, I think that it'll really work for you. And the other thing I would point out is, again, I said it earlier on, you can compress time, but there are no shortcuts. Do the work, expand your associations, read good books, and listen to good material, and go to the events, and don't give up, because your world really is in your hands, and it's up to you. Nobody is responsible if it doesn't work but you, but nobody can take credit for your success when it does, and I believe that you can make it work.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you so much for getting on the show. Get to the point. You know, I'm one of your #1 fans now, and I just met you. So I just blessed and honored.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. So everybody needs to go check out Lisa Grossman's fan page. I'll go ahead and post it on my Facebook wall. Everybody like it, share it with everybody, because Lisa Grossman can definitely help everybody in your business and in life. So thanks again, everybody, for attending. If you want to see the next show, more updates, go to jonathanpuga.com, and look forward to seeing you on the next show. Bye-bye for now.